back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, my name is Tanya from Little Vintage Cottage, and today I am in a crafty mood, so I'm going to share how I made some cute little, or a cute little pumpkin guy from polymer clay, oven baked clay, and a wooden clothespin. Let me know below if you have any questions or comments, and thanks for watching. Let's get started.
So I'm starting off with just a bit of plain white oven bake polymer clay, and I rolled it into a ball, and then this is my clothespin that will be the pumpkin body, and the top of the clothespin will become the clay head. So I'm just making an indent into the clay where the clothespin can be glued in after I bake the clay. Ideally, I would have used orange clay, but I don't have any, so I'm just using the white, and I'll paint it after I bake it. I'm using just some basic clay sculpting tools to create the eyes, and then I'm going to put the lines that go, generally down a pumpkin. I'm just drawing those in with the pointy tool. Really anything pointy would work. The end of a pen, a toothpick would work great if you don't have these kind of tools. And then I'm just kind of going around the lines and softening up the edges so they look a little more natural and not so harsh and jagged. And then I'm just going to draw on a squiggly, cute little mouth. Now I'm just using a little bit of brown clay and making a little stem for our pumpkin man. Then I baked it according to the package directions, which is real quick, just like 20 minutes at 275 degrees. And now I'm going to paint it Harvest Orange. And then paint the clothespin the same orange color. You really don't need to paint the whole clothespin. I did because I was just winging it with this little guy, but most of the clothespin is going to be covered up in the end, so just paint the little bottom parts that would be the feet and the top around what will be the neck, and then the little base if you have one of these. Now I'm just using some black craft paint and coloring in the little indentations for the eyes. while the eyes are drying, let's create his little pipe cleaner arms. So stick the head on so you know where the arms will go, and you just kind of wrap your pipe cleaner around the top of the clothespin and shape it into arms. And I would not cut them yet because you're not exactly sure how long they need to be, so just leave them long for a little bit. And this is part of an old kitchen dish towel that I used for another project, and I liked the little white pom-poms down at the end, and of course orange is appropriate for a pumpkin man. So I'm just going to make his little outfit out of these scraps. So you could see I laid him on there to see how long it should be, and I'm cutting 2 pieces of this fabric, and then I will stitch them together. Lay the 2 pieces of fabric right sides together and then stitch along the edges, both sides, but leave the top and the bottom open. I just used some orange coordinating thread and did a basic whip stitch along the edges, but you could even glue these if you didn't want to mess with sewing. And then turn it right side out. And then you're going to take some thicker thread and run a gathering stitch all around the top and the bottom. A gathering stitch is just a real loose stitch. You don't tie any knots in the ends, you leave the ends hanging because you're going to pull them to gather it up. And that being said, you also want to use a sturdy thread. Your regular sewing thread is going to break when you try and pull it tight. So use some thick, heavy-duty thread. Now lay it down on top of your clothespin to determine where the armholes should be, and just cut little slits in the sides, and then slide the clothespin in and the arms through the armholes that you just created. And then you're going to gather up the top where the neck will be, and so you just pull on both ends of that gathering stitch thread and tie it off, and then glue on the head. I used crazy glue, but really you can use any kind of craft glue or even wood glue. Now we're gathering up the bottom, same way we did the top. Before you pull it tight, tuck a little bit of stuffing into the bottom, just a little bit to make him a little puffy. You don't want it hard, just a little bit squishy so it'll stay puffy looking. I tied a little black ribbon around the bottom also. I did end up taking this off a little bit later in the video. I just didn't like it, but you could add a ribbon along the bottom if you want. And now push him down into his little stand and then glue that in. So now he can stand up on his own. And make his collar. So I chose just a little scrap of orange and black polka dot grosgrain ribbon, and I'm going to run another gathering stitch just like we did on the on his clothing along the top edge of this ribbon, and then I'll gather it up around his neck. I added some tiny little pom-poms that I had down the front of his shirt. You could use little tiny buttons or sequins. You could even just paint little polka dots or do nothing. It depends on what kind of fabric you have. Next, I made a tiny little bow out of some black ribbon and put that at his neck just for a little added detail. You can kind of dress him up however you want from this point. Now I am using a Sharpie paint pen and I'm going to paint some little lines, little stripes on the base. Again, just for some more detail. You could use white paint, you could do polka dots, any design you want, or leave it plain. I'm using white craft paint and I'm going to paint little highlights in his eyes. I'm going to add some little rosy cheeks with these decorating chalks. If you don't have these, you could use regular blush or just a real dry scruffy brush and some red or pink paint and just add little cheeks right at the top of where his smile is. I also used these chalks to put some shading down the lines on his pumpkin head, down the lines like a pumpkin would have. But again, if you don't have these, you could use paint, or you can just not even do this part. And then I added some white dots on his cheeks with the white paint, and I'm using a black Sharpie fine point marker to add little eyebrows. I decided he needed a nose, so I used some black craft paint and just painted a little triangle nose for him. Now he needs something to hold in his hands. So I have a bunch of little drawers full of just miscellaneous doodads, and so I found these Halloween cupcake picks in my stash, and so here's a cute little pumpkin one that I think will be cute for him to hold. I'm just using some needle nose pliers to bend the ends of the pipe cleaners so that I can wrap them around the stem of this little cupcake pick. By the way, you can see that I've already cut the pipe cleaner arms, so just cut yours to the length that you want them based on what he's going to hold. Now we're going to glitter him. You could skip this step, but I like the look of glitter. So I have some orange, and I'm just going to rub some white craft glue on him and then sprinkle him with the glitter.